Hello boys and girls, this is Mrs. Ott, and guess what? It's Santa time! So today we will be drawing and painting Santa in his sleigh on his way to deliver all his presents on Christmas night. So his sleigh is going way up in the sky, touching the clouds. Are you ready? Let's get our materials and let's get started. Get your pencil, your eraser, and we are now ready to start Santa's sleigh. So I'm going to start with a line that's a little bit at an angle. This is going to be the bottom of Santa's sleigh. And I'm actually going to make it double because we would like Santa's sleigh to be kind of sturdy. Now it's going up this line because imagine that the sleigh is flying way up in the air, going up over all the houses. So here's one of the curls. Now we're going to make our sleigh a little bit 3D, but first I want to add the part that's at the bottom of the sleigh. This is so that when the sleigh lands, it's got something to land on. So here's the bottom of the sleigh. Now I'm going to add the back of the sleigh. So since we're going up, this line will be again kind of slanted in the same direction. Kind of like this. And this is where we need to, hopefully he'll have a big bag with lots of presents. So here is the back of the sleigh, and then it goes down, down, down so that Santa can get in. And this is kind of, imagine where there would be a door. And then here is the front of our sleigh that goes back up here. Now, this part is just one side. Now, on the other side, obviously, we have another one of this so that when he lands, there's another part. So I can see it from this side. So imagine it continues on the other side and it will come up back here. So when you add this part, your sleigh will kind of look a little bit more 3D. And again, I'm adding this curved line and I can see it a little bit here. There we go. So now it's a little bit more 3D. Now we're going to add our Santa right here. So I'm going to start with just a simple shape. Imagine that this is his back right here. And about here would be his waist with a large black belt. Now here's the back. So imagine that right here is going to be his hat. So this is the rim of the hat, kind of like that. And then here's the top of his hat. It's kind of going that way, flying away. Here's a poofy white fluff. Now we're going to barely see. So whenever you have lines that you want to erase them right away. We're going to have his eye kind of right here. So it's just a circle and a pupil looking this way. And then I can see the forehead just a little bit and a nose peeking out. Now and then here's just a small line. He's got a mustache. So here is his mustache. And we'll see basically his smile is right here. And then we have his beard is so big that it kind of starts here and then goes down. And we can still see it kind of coming here. Now, about this area here, I'm going to add my arms. So the arms are going to come here and he's, you know, holding on to dear life to these deers that are pulling the sleigh really, really fast. They're going so fast. Okay, so here is the trim of the coat. I'm going to add another line right here for the arm and the mitten. So you're seeing the thumb, and here's your mitten. Okay. Now the beard is coming down here again. Let's look at our Santa. If you wanted to see, let's see. Yeah, that's about right. Now I'm going to erase this line. That is for the back of Santa. And you can adjust. Maybe I want my hat to be a little bit more like that. Flying this way. So look at your proportions. Look at your lines. So that everything, maybe your head is too small, maybe your head is too big. Like I just did, you know, adjust anything that you feel is not right. Maybe this is a little bit too high. So I'm going to adjust this line. And every time you make an adjustment, you might have to adjust something else. So this one has to be closer. And if you wanted to add a trim, like say he's got a trim on his coat, which will be white, we could do that right there. So we're thinking about different things that are happening now. Its beard is probably coming through here. And let's see, I think that's about right. So now that we have our basic sketch for Santa, we need to add, you know, he's holding on basically to the reins that are pulling the reindeer. So this is really important. They're going to be kind of going up like that. So we have to figure out what kind of movement would these reins have. So I'm actually going to make them, I'm actually wanting to see another mitten back here. So I can add the other hand right here. This is the cuff, and here's the thumb, and here's another mitten. Okay, that's optional. Now I'm going to add one rein going this way, and here's the other rein. And here's my Santa. Now, if I wanted to poof it up a little bit, there. Now we're missing something really important. Presents! Now, you could add presents in a bag, or you can add, you know, just presents. So this is up to you. I'm gonna fill this whole part here with presents. And then I am going to start sharpieing. Use your small Sharpie, I recommend. And then what else can we put in our sky? Maybe I'm going to add a nice big cloud, so we know he's like really, really way up in the sky. Now you can add the moon, you can add stars. So I'm going to continue adding presents, stars, then I'm going to Sharpie. And then I'll see you in a little bit so we can talk about how we're going to color and paint our Santa. You've done sharpening and erasing all your pencil marks, we are now ready to color in our Santa and our sleigh. So for the sleigh and for Santa, I'm going to be using oil pastels, and then for the background, and actually for Santa's face, I'm going to be using my watercolors. So I'm going to start with, just these oil pastels. Now again, if you didn't have oil pastels, you could also use pencils, you could use markers. So use, whatever you think you would like to use. I mean, they all look great. So I'm going to start with my Santa suit. So I always like to clean my oil pastels because sometimes I've used them in other drawings and they could be a little bit dirty. So you kind of just draw a little bit and make sure they're clean. And I'm just going to start, filling in all our details. Now, make sure you do not fill in, or if you do fill them in, the white parts. So your white parts would be the rim, the little puff. We have the trim of your suit, and then we also have this cloud right here. So I'm going to continue adding all my colors. Are done coloring your sleigh, your Santa, your stars. I also colored in my cloud with oil pastels so that when we go over with watercolor, it still stays white. Now, I'm going to start with the face. I'm going to use a ballerina brush. And if you have a skin color in your watercolors, that's great. If you don't, like mine, you can make one. And I'm going to use a little bit of tan color, a little bit of red. And that's kind of what it should be like. You can add maybe a little bit of yellow until you get kind of a skin color. There it is. And since it's a very small area, I don't need to add water first. Maybe a little bit darker. Maybe your Santa has the darker skin. So there it is. It's a very, very small area. But I didn't want to do it with the oil pastels because it needed something more small. The oil pastels are a little bit big. Maybe you did it with markers, which is a great option as well. So now my whole sky, I'm going to use a large brush. I'm going to add water first. And then I'm going to add, my sky color, which will be kind of a dark blue, but then again, maybe it's almost dawn, and we can add different other colors in the sky. So I'm going to start with water first, and then I'm going to add my colors on top. Really don't forget water first, it's really important. Is completely dry. If you wished to add a little bit more sparkle, you can first take all the salt off. You could do that with your hands like this. Just be careful not to rub your oil pastel because they will rub all over. You can also use a brush if you want it. But some people like to keep it on, kind of like for additional texture. So it's really up to you because it does look like crystals all over. So there's just many different ways to handle salt. So once you're done with taking salt off, you want to just kind of take it off. And then one additional step, if you wanted to, would be to add a little bit of glitter. So you can either add glitter glue, or you can add a little bit of glue and then add glitter. So I'm going to choose a little bit of glitter. I'm going to try it first on a separate piece of paper, make sure it works well. And what I wanted to add is just kind of like a little bit of sparkle behind to kind of make believe that, you know, the sleigh is flying. So this is kind of coming in the back like that. Also, it could be just kind of the magic fairy dust, or however you want to call it, that makes Santa's sleigh fly. So it's kind of magical, right? So I'm gonna do just a little bit of that. Now, if you wanted to add glitter to the sleigh, maybe I'm adding a little bit of gold, or to your stars. So, you know, just a little bit more magic to our painting. But again, this is completely optional. But, you know, if you have some at home and you want to, it's just an idea. Or you can also spread it. So just, you know, different options here. I'm just going to put a little bit here, maybe not on all of them, on all of my stars. And there we have it, a little bit of glitter.